faithful subjects and brave warriors of the German Empire. Our Reich now dominates Europe. A testament to the power and resolve of the German nation. One by one, the mighty have fallen. The burdens of Versailles are being paid back in the fear of our enemies. It is German science that has sharpened our dagger. And it is German science that will deliver our final strike.
Good afternoon, everyone, and good time zone. Sorry for the slight lag that you might be seeing on stream. My name is Alex. I'm one of the community ambassadors here at Hearts of Iron, and I'm joined today by Malin and Manuel, who are both content designers, and we're going to be going through some of the new features coming to the expansion with Austria and Special Projects. But would you guys like to introduce yourself whilst I get our game going here?
Forms known as Malin. I am the content designer behind Austria.
Hi, I'm Manu, and I've been working for this DLC on mostly Germany and the Special Projects feature.
And before we actually just jump on in, we're going to be going through Austria mostly. People in chat, please do let us know if you're having any other technical issues other than the lag. And if you have any questions for our developers, please let us know. We have some spies in our various chats, and we will be taking questions towards the end. But we're going to walk through what we've got here. And I have been told I need to make you two just a little bit louder, so I'm going to do that right away. But let's hop into the game, shall we? While I do that. So if we go, I will do this manually because apparently it is not having a fun time. There we go. Right, so we should now be in game with Austria. So we're going to be taking a look at the Austria focus tree for a lot. Where am I going to be starting, Malin? Where am I going to be starting?
So the historical path is to the right a little bit, under the focus known as totalitarian safety. So slightly to the right of this.
Slightly to the right of this. There we go. Totalitarian safety. There we have it.
Yes. And this will be your historical path. Now, of course, historical is said with some air quotation marks, because as we all know, there isn't really much history to Austria. They're kind of, So this starts out historical, and then after a while it starts getting a bit more ahistorical. To the left of this path you find the other political paths, which all start with the same focus, but then diverge pretty quickly. So there is a communist path, there is a democratic path, and a monarchist path, because of course there is a monarchist path for a country with such history as Austria.
Absolutely.
And then to the right you'll find your common branches, starting with industry and then air force, army, and surprisingly navy, in that order.
Okay.
As you can see, it's a quite hefty focus tree, not the largest in the game, but definitely sizable.
Absolutely. Could you just start running us through the historical branch? What am I going to be expecting going down this tree?
So you are going to be expecting to spend a lot of time trying to avoid the Anschluss that is coming for you, because otherwise you'll meet a swift end. The totalitarian safety is essentially clamping down on your already rather authoritarian state to make sure that you don't have any outlying rascals that try to mess up your perfect country. And you will do this by rather quickly clamping down on the DNSAP, which was the Austrian version of Mr. Mustachman's party. And obviously, if you do this, the Germans might not be so happy, but you might be happier for it, which will, of course, turn you from a non-aligned country, because you do start non-aligned, to a fascist country.
So, shall I start going down these focuses now? Shall I?
Oh, we can do that.
Let's speed this up, though. I'm gonna just use focus autocomplete until you say not to. Anyway,
absolutely do that. But what I will do is take totalitarian safety and then let it run, because the Germans won't start focusing on messing you up immediately, and we need an event to pop for that. But it will take roughly 70 days for this to happen.
No problem. I will. In the meantime, I will just do some normal Hoi playing and set up my army into a position, and so
absolutely.
What? So we're waiting for about 70 days. Did you say?
We are waiting for about 70 days. There will be an event popping. This event will be regarding some concerns that the Austrians have with the Germans suddenly remilitarizing the Rhineland. Because obviously, if they are remilitarizing the Rhineland, this indicates that they might be ready to, well, expand elsewhere, shall we say. And the natural way of progressing down this focus tree is usually by starting with the political branches, as you currently, in your national spirits, have quite a few malices that might want to get rid of, such as you can't train any troops at all.
Oh no. So if you're right, I can't. That's that's quite the problem when playing Hearts of Iron. I think I would really quite like to be able to train some troops.
Agreed, especially since history tells us that we might need those.
Yes,
in
maybe
the imminent
perhaps.
future.
So the Treaty of Saint-Germain-en-Laye, it says this is going to be okay. We can't go past volunteer only as well, and we can't send volunteers. Yeah, that's a real big problem. Is this the thing that we're going to be trying to get rid of with the current focus tree?
You are going to try to get rid of that, and you're going to try to get rid of get rid of the German threat, obviously. But you can't really do that on your own, so you're going to be seeking guarantees. Historically, no one really guaranteed Austria whatsoever, because who cares, really? It's just Austria. But that doesn't mean that it can't change for you. You might need to bribe some people, and you might need to make some concessions, but you can get guarantees from neighboring countries and other guarantors. Historically, it was France. Oh, buddy, you're one good national spirit. Shame if something were to happen to it, right?
Oh, absolutely. This is. Oh no. So which one am I picking here? Am I going to cover this with payouts, or is this how awful? Oh no. Oh wow. This is really quite the malices we're seeing here.
Yeah. So both of these are bad. One of them costs a lot of political power, and you need that political power for other things as well. And the other one means you get rid of your one good national spirit and remove the possibility of regaining this national spirit in the future. The important thing to note here is recruitable population factor. Austria is a small country. You need all recruitable population you can get. For the purpose of the stream, I would say ditch it for now, because we can use that.
How awful! Oh no, we're going to lose that. So that national spirit that's gone away. We're going to lose that recruitable population factor, and now we're kind of in a in a bad moment. Was this the event we were waiting for? No,
it's gonna get worse.
Oh, it's only going to get worse from here. Okay, that's always what we want to hear.
Yeah, but this should signify that we're getting close to it, because once Italy starts sending demands, they usually completed a focus or two. Oh, here we go. We are on ahistorical.
I might be on ahistorical. Oh no.
Okay,
I can reboot this if we need to.
I think we might need to if we want to show off
no
historical.
problem. I will do that. I'll do that very quickly. Look, this is
take the opportunity. You can now go all in on Germany.
That's true.
Yes,
that's
go. Take Germany.
So that's my bad, ladies and gentlemen. I am a lover of ahistorical gameplay when I play Hoi. I like the world to be a little bit crazy. So that's just me accidentally leaving the that on. Okay, I'm gonna readjust this very, very quickly. Look, I'm clearly a professional streamer. That's exactly what I was intended to just, allow us to talk about things, and now I can really push through the game. That's totally what I'm doing. I'm not gonna just focus autocomplete. And
that's a missed opportunity.
That was a missed opportunity. Do you think it was a?
Real Austrian leader would have taken advantage of that situation?
Yeah.
So I'm a fake leader. That's what it is. I'm an absolutely fake leader.
Yeah. But then for this time, since what we could do is we could start down some other sort of focuses while we're waiting. We could do
absolutely.
the industrial startup focus, reorganize the banks, more or less, the financial sector.
So
let's start with that one, yes.
Yeah, no problem.
Yes. So this focus will help a little bit. Yeah.
I think
there goes our one good.
And the community will love that I'm going to just point out that this is a 35-day focus. You're welcome.
There are quite a lot of 35-day focuses in Austria's build-up for the simple reason that... Oh, there it goes.
Okay, so we've got some pop-ups here.
Yeah. No, there's a lot of 35-day focuses because you need to do a lot of focuses fast early on Austria for obvious reasons. Fate of Kreditanstalt Bankverein, we can just pick whatever. It's a industrial concern. I usually go for the consumer goods one because consumer goods malice who?
Yeah, we'll go for that one as well. And then German remilitarization causes widespread worry. So this is going to unlock us anti-Anschluss measures. Oh, okay.
Yes.
Is this going to be in the decisions panel?
Yes, it is. So if you open those and then let it play for a bit, because here we have an important part.
Okay.
As you can see, there's quite a lot of these decisions. They are to put up state garrisons in your states to better help defend them. And there are also emergency civilian factory construction and military factory construction, as well as fortification effort that help you build these buildings quicker, which might be very useful. There will be more decisions as the risk of Anschluss rises, because you can see you have an indication of the current risk of German Anschluss. Without going into detail on how the Anschluss mechanic works, it's basically the more troops Austria has, the more good for Austria. The less troops Austria have, the less good for Austria. And even more so, they need to be equipped. You can't just throw out a bunch of people with no guns and hope that's going to help you, because it's not going to help you.
Oh, so it actually takes into account the unit's readiness?
Yes. It takes into account the unit's readiness, because, you're not going to hold back the Germans with a stick. You're going to need a gun for that.
Absolutely. So I can see why you say I will need all the political power I can get, because these are going to start ramping up in costs. I'm guessing I should probably go for the state garrisons if I'm going to need more troops. Correct?
The state garrisons will, if you hover over the decision, you'll see that it helps with supply and it helps with enemy attrition.
Okay.
So, and it also gives defense on core territory, so it's going to help you defend better with what troops you have. So this is a good option. Other good options might be to get political advisors in that might help you to get more political power or other such things. But you also might need political power to deal with unforeseen happenings and events.
Okay.
Because,
okay.
of course, there might be those.
So there's a fine balancing act that I'm going to have to do, and I realized I didn't set up any of my factories. I'm going to spend a little bit of my political power, I think, to grab some military factories as well. If weapons is going to be a key feature, I think perhaps I should have some. I can't just put bodies in uniforms; that they need their guns as well. I will make sure that I've got a few guns on the line. Okay, so if I'm going to keep this rolling, what would you advise? What should I go? I've got 160 political power. Where should I go from here?
I would start by doing another focus. I would clamp down on the DNSAP because, as said, you might need the political power for unforeseen events and circumstances.
Okay.
That might stem from angering your neighbors by banning their political parties. Yep.
Yeah, I can understand why a certain very, very angry person across the border might have an issue with me getting rid of his political party. But yes, a fighter race is full from grace.
Yeah. Oh. So this is an old fighter race that you had, and he historically died during this period. So he thought it would be neat to have a chance event happening of whether he dies or survives. And if he survives, he might be able to help you.
So it works like the Amelia Earhart event?
Yeah.
Oh,
exactly.
Fantastic. That's great.
And there's not a lot of those kind of events to Austria, but we thought when we could add them, why not?
Mm-hmm.
Especially since it's a country where some of the content is front-loaded, and especially on the historical department, as there isn't much history to the time when Austria didn't exist.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense. So what are the key points of this tree? Just because I worry about the time, and I want to show off some of the other trees as well.
Yes.
Like, what elements of this historical tree, once you get past surviving the Anschluss, let's absolutely not. We'll get rid of the Nazis in our government here. What key things have we got here? I'm seeing a lot of intervention in Spain, so we can get involved with the Spanish Civil War coming on?
You can absolutely do that if you have enough troops to do that. In the historical tree, I would say that the key points are seeking help from the guarantors or from Italy to try to get a guarantee, because holding out alone, yeah, sure, it is possible, but your mileage might vary, so to speak. And after that, I would argue that the expansionist focuses with trying to annex Hungary, Czechoslovakia, Yugoslavia, parts of Poland, and Romania. And as you can see, there is a lot of black and yellow here at the bottom, because you can obviously try to make yourself the Austrian Empire, even as a fascist.
Oh, fantastic.
And then you can go further, of course.
Speaking of Austrian Empire, should we start talking a little bit perhaps about the monarchist tree for a little while?
Sure. We obviously need to probably reload that, because
I'm on it, but there's going to be
probably
a key question of how Hapsburg can you get? Surely. Yes. Okay. I think that's a question answered. I think the community is going to be very happy that you can get very Hapsburg. Okay, I'll leave historical focuses on this time. Make sure I've got that ticked. Don't worry about it. It's fine. We move on over. Right, we're back. It's January 1st again. Deja vu. We're not going with that. We're going to go for a monarchist path. So let's take a look at the monarchist tree. I'm guessing that's under the repealing the May Constitution. Okay.
Absolutely. If you repeal the May Constitution and then you want to reinstate the Herrenhaus.
Reinstate the Herrenhaus. Okay. So if I begin that focus, I'm probably going to let the time run again.
Yes. So I guess there might be a need for a number of Habsburgs. How many Habsburgs can you get? The answer is 5 and the city of Habsburg, but there might be more elsewhere. Austria isn't the only country with Habsburgs. I'd advise people to ask Jonathan, the Hungarian designer, about this later on.
Oh! Look at you teasing future streams and videos and dev diaries already. A consummate pro. There we go.
Habsburgs.
Yeah, teasing all them Habsburgs, because there are a lot.
Just gonna regulate the banking sector again. Just do sort of like give a feeling of what sort of paths we're gonna go down. So am I waiting for an event with the repeal of the Mayo Constitution? Okay, so
no, we don't care about that right now. So you can go down towards the Herrenhaus. So that's going to be that one. Yes.
Yeah.
I can't
right
see.
Here. Oh, no problem. So yeah, reinstate the Herrenhaus, which is. Going to talk about so are we reaching out to Hungary here and Otto?
We are reaching out to Otto specifically to invite Otto back. Hungary does not get an event from this. And if Hungary had taken their focus to get Otto, spoilers, then you'd have someone else here instead, who's unfortunately not a Habsburg, but he can be quite fun either way.
Okay, so we've reinstated the Herrenhaus.
And now, if you look, we have the man.
The man, the myth, the legend, Otto von Habsburg. There we go. From here, we've got two options, I see. So we have Legacy of an Empire and the Danubian Federation.
Yes.
Can you talk us a little bit about those two?
So, the Legacy of an Empire is the one that we probably expect to be most played. It is leaning heavily in towards the Austro-Hungarian Empire or the Austrian Empire itself. As you can see, you still have access to the annex branch that the fascists also had, but you also have the puppet branch. To make the puppet branch a little bit more spicy, you can actually get a joint focus tree if you start getting subjects instead of annexing them outright. Called the Austro-Hungarian or Habsburg joint focus tree. And yes, that's one Habsburg for you. You can reclaim it.
Fantastic.
Because obviously we need to off Switzerland.
Yes, no, totally, absolutely, understanding. I'm also noticing this. There's a.
Oh, yeah, regarding Liechtenstein.
Yeah,
Yeah, what is there to say about the last remaining member of the HRE? They are a thing. You can invite a bunch of characters from Liechtenstein, and while they might not be on the map, at least not at the game start, they have 3 characters that can be invited in the Austrian focus tree. You have Johannes and Alois as advisors. Johannes can later also become an admiral, and Elisabeth, who is an industrialist advisor.
Oh, so these come in as your political advisors. That's fantastic.
Yes, you can have an entire cabinet of Liechtensteiners.
You can have an entire cabinet of Liechtensteiners. Fantastic.
There are 3 of them, and there are 3 slots. Absolutely. And then you also asked a little bit about the Danubian Federation.
Yes.
Which is something that, when we read up on Otto von Habsburg, we found out that he was a proponent of the EU very early on. So we thought, why don't we try to make a federative path that is accessible both to democracies and to monarchs?
Oh, so this is a monarchist version of the, essentially, what might become an EU?
It can become an EU.
Wow,
it can
fantastic.
become an EU, and it can become just a Danubian Federation. It starts out as a faction, and that too unlocks the Austro-Hungarian joint focus tree. And it does so even if you're democratic. So even a democracy can now access Austro-Hungarian content.
Oh, wow. That's fantastic.
And it doesn't have to stop at being just a federation. At the bottom of it, you have 2 focuses. One which is the EU, and the other one called Protector of the Danube. Protector of the Danube lets you reach out to your faction members and asks, hey, do you maybe want to federalize and, become a big country instead of a lot of small ones? So you can puppet them, and later on, if you're monarchist, via your joint focus tree, you can actually integrate them.
Wow.
Whereas the EU is just puppets, but the EU can also puppet.
Oh, that's really interesting. So, which tree should we have a little bit of a visit down for today? Should we go Danubian Federation or Legacy of an Empire? I think we should go Legacy of an Empire, as it's the more traditional monarchist path. Okay.
Yes, let's go for Legacy of an Empire. This should set us up. Is this the one that gives us a new? No, it's not. Carrying the crown should be an interesting one.
Okay, so we need 40 more. We need to probably unpause, let this take over, because I think we need a little bit more
Yes.
support for the non-aligned.
We can ban some political parties.
Yeah, that's probably a good
via our
idea.
decisions.
It's probably a good idea to just.
Oh no, wait, we can't. We can't do that because the fascist party might be aligned with your neighbor up in the north, and their popularity might make it more and more difficult to hold out against the Anschluss as time goes on. So you can't ban them.
Interesting. Okay, so even as the monarchists, and I'm guessing the other political trees, we're going to have to be juggling with not getting Anschlussed?
Yes. Everyone, as long as Germany is doing their usual things, are going to worry about getting Anschlussed.
Interesting.
So,
is there a number of things I can do in the tree to help prevent that again, or is it mainly through... Yeah, go for it.
So the main things you can do about this is obviously troops, and troops. The more troops you have, which you still can't train, so you need to get rid of the treaty. But the main thing you can do, apart from troops, is there will be events like Nazis in the government.
That was perfectly timed.
Exactly. And if you look at the bottom of this, the total army fighting strength needed for Anschluss will be lowered or will be raised. So this actually affects the German focus tree a little bit.
Oh.
With how much manpower they need over Austria to be able to take their focus and start the Anschluss. So refusing this, we will buy ourselves a little bit more time, but we will spend political power doing so.
Well, I've got some political power. I don't mind spending it. And preventing that Anschluss a little while. I still can't train troops because I need to get rid of the treaty. Oh no! Okay, I can feel the pressure and the management that needs to come in for the Austrian treaty to work. But it's one of those. If we have a good early game, we can reap the rewards later.
Yes.
Install. Oh gosh, I've got to. Oh, even more political. So that will.
They are not happy.
They're not happy. I can spend even more political power to reject them trying to control us, or I can risk retaliation if we refuse, but it will lower the requirements for Anschluss again. I don't think we're going to let them Anschluss us this time. But yeah, we're suffering because we don't have the ability to build troops. I'm going to prepare for war either way. Just act as a player would. Maybe sort out my industry a little bit. German right
gave up
efforts. Oh, thank goodness they did give up. Does that mean we're still going to be at risk of Anschluss with them giving up? Or? Okay.
You are still at risk for Anschluss. They just gave up their efforts to install Autoseusenkart into your government and make things bad for you. Right. They're still very intent on letting you die. If you go into the focus tree, you can seek papal support otherwise to boost your...
change in political party. Oh, that's fantastic. Yeah, okay. So there are things in the focus tree that can give me a little bit of an edge. I'm just going to focus autocomplete a little bit and see the change. So that's political power, base stability, and obviously change in the ruling party, which is going to be very, very useful.
Yes. So this is a bit more... like the flow is a little bit better if you play it naturally. Obviously, we have to cheat a bit because we want to show as much as possible to you guys. But trust me, it's tailored so that it isn't too hard. And there are advices. One which I think was very popular. If you find Ludwig von Mises, who is giving a little bit of support to non-aligned. This is not ideal, but it is kind of representative, and he also helps with consumer goods factor. So this man can be helpful if you need to grow a little bit more non-aligned rather quickly.
I'll put him into my government. I have done. I've used the secret Hapsburg powers to give myself some political power, just to showcase some of these things here. There's Austria's got a lot of political advisors now, which is really really fun to see. It really allows us to customize our cabinet a bit. Also, let's get a silent workhorse. Let's make sure we got that political power gain coming in. So I can now do carrying the crown.
Yes, and this will make Otto a little bit better and also rename us to the Archduchy of Austria.
Oh, Oh wow, yeah. Let's definitely be. Oh, we get the flag. Good.
You get the flag.
We
You
do
get the flag.
Fantastic, fantastic. Now, I'm just conscious of our time. I think we leave the rest of this path as a little thing for our community to explore once they get their hands on the DLC. And let's go take a look at the democratic and the communist paths, which I know a lot of people will also be excited for. So we'll do that before we jump on over to the special projects in a moment. But yeah, Jordan, just run us through possibly what you think like the key points of the democratic and the communist. What are goals on these focus trees?
So the democratic path is obviously, once again, you need to seek guarantees because democratic Austria won't be able to hold on their own. And then it's either joining the Allies or creating a faction named the Alpine Federation, which invites Italy if they're democratic, but also Switzerland and others. I don't remember exactly on top of my head which. But essentially, you want to end fascism in Europe and you want to survive. That's basically what you want to do as a democrat. As for the communists, there's gonna usually be a civil war. You can avoid it, but it's difficult. You start out with something named as Austro-Marxism, which is a weird combination of communism and social democracy. It exists somewhere in between of those two. But you have a civil war, and you have to either ask the Soviets for help to win this, because it's difficult on your own, or you can go for a very heavily militia-focused version of things. If you do not go with the Soviets, you will be able to tell the Soviet that their form of communism is wrong later on and declare war on them.
Your communist is wrong and you should feel wrong. Okay.
Yes, your communism is wrong and you should feel bad about it.
Okay, fantastic.
But you can also do the good old spreading communist to nearby Danubian countries and creating your own little union of Danubian socialist republics.
Oh, interesting. Very, very interesting. So it's kind of, there are elements, I'm noticing elements with both the democratic line, the communist line, and the monarchist line that all kind of feed off the same ideas, just their own variations on this.
Yes.
Okay. Let's try and repeal the May Constitution. Oh, I probably need to put the autofocus complete on again. Give me a moment. Let's just smack through this one. And we're going to legalize political opposition. And then I'm going to go through Austria. Which of the... Whereabouts am I going to start seeing the Civil War? I don't know how far I want to go before I blow the country up.
Reclaiming Red Vienna is when you're going to start seeing a civil war happening or not happening, depending on how communist you are at that point.
Interesting. Okay. Well, I'll go down the Austro-Marxism route, and I noticed that we can still seek. We can still go down the financial lines. Is there any of these that are going to be unavailable to us if we're going down the communist tree, or is it all pretty open?
All of them are. As far as I remember, don't quote me because I don't have all of the content in my head, should be available to you.
No, that's totally fine. But that's
then
good to
there's, of course, the Phoenix Insurance that is only available if you actually supported Phoenix Insurance and handled the payouts for them. If you didn't, then you're not getting that one. And, I mean, it is a good spirit. It's 10% recruitable pop, and you do need recruitable pop. You're not a big country. You don't have endless manpower reserves.
Mm-hmm.
I have to say the focus tree really looks cool with all the new icons and
it really does.
They are really, really cool.
Yeah, the artists have done an amazing job with this DLC. There are so much good art in this one.
And luckily, there's also so much focus trees, so many focuses coming in. So
many focuses.
Yeah, the art team have been very, very hard at work making this look very, very unique and befitting all of the changes that are coming. We haven't even had time to really dive into the military trees, but let's do that very quickly because we know that Austria has some well-known designers and such. So let's quickly look at this and the impact on, say, MIOs and such.
Yes, of course. So down to the left, you have Improve Steyr Arms. Steyr is one of the more well-known gun makers in the world. And they're actually Austrian. So they exist as a MIO at GameStop, but you can upgrade them here. and they can become pretty darn good. Other than that, for Mayos, there is Saurer. Österreichische Saurer was pretty well known back in the day. I know Saurer exists as a Mayo for Switzerland as well, but this is a new version of Saurer, so it's not that you need to be at peace with Switzerland for this Saurer to work, which is good because you might very well end up at war with Switzerland because you want Habsburg or something similar.
I am being...
It's in the old concern icons, if you are looking for the lists.
I am.
Industrial concerns.
Oh,
below the political advice. There you go.
Yeah. My brain was like, I've forgotten where the MIOs are.
I could feel the struggle.
Yeah.
Thank you so my brain was not working. But yeah, so we have some very unique, some new unique MIOs coming, and you say that these can get a little bit powerful. That's good to know as well. Is there any other really key details that I want to go through with Austria? I am aware of time, and I know that there's a second half of this stream that we start to need to be moving on to. But
yes. So I wouldn't say there are any more like main key points to Austria. It's just like you need to survive your Anschluss and then grow. Because once you've actually survived Anschluss or staved it off or managed to hold it, then you can snowball really quickly. It's just an uphill fight to get there. So strategy-wise, get guarantees, get rid of the treaty, go.
Very challenging start for...
Yes.
Well, fantastic, Malin. Thank you so much for sharing your in-depth knowledge of the Austrian audience at home. I hope you've enjoyed seeing this little preview of Austria. I know we'd love to go into much more detail, but we are tight for time. And we get to talk about another key piece of content coming, which is the fantastic special projects, which, Manuel, you're going to take us through. What nation should I be playing? Where are we going? Take us. Where should I go to take a look at some special projects?
We can do it in Austria. You can tag to Germany. There's a couple more models maybe in Germany, but we can do either. It's fine. I spent most of the day yesterday hooking in new icons and art that just got in. So
Hopefully, okay. Well, let's tag switch to Germany just so we just have a little bit more set up. Oh no! Now we have to look at the way that the AI is set up. It's for the front lines. Okay.
Oh, nice.
So, take us through. What do I need to do for to get special projects going?
So first things first. One of the main ways of accessing the facilities and the special projects window is by right-clicking the research tab.
Oh,
right click now. We get into this new window. Yeah. You also have two tabs there: research slot, experimental facilities. You can switch between them. But as a hotkeys are really neat hotkey. And then here. You will be able to see your specializations. There's 4 specializations for this feature. Physics, tied especially to nuclear, the naval, air, which includes planes, rockets, and such, and the land warfare, which is mostly tanks and or armored vehicles and artillery. In this window, you can also see your facilities. Germany starts the game with 1 facility already. So the AI has already assigned Edward Grote to it, and it's already researching military engineering vehicles. And yeah, by clicking on it, you can open the current project. You will see, if you click it again, that's the facility on the map, by the way. Very good point. You can also click it to see what's going on inside. And once you have a scientist, you can start a project. In this case, the AI has making the call for us. But in this window, you can check between the iterations and the output. So you check the output first. That is what you will get at the very end of the project. Once the project is totally completed, this is what you will be getting. In this case, you will be getting this new support battalion, assault engineers. It's a new type of equipment. It's meant to represent these Spigot mortar vehicles and other like mine clearing vehicles that helps on an assault advancing through fortified enemy positions. So you will get the equipment to produce, the unit to utilize, and it will also unlock certain technologies in the tree. So if you go to the technology tree, I hope you can see right now. Yes, in the support tab. Yes, here you can see that now there are a plethora of new technologies. You can see they have a different frame. That means that it's a special project-related technology. So it requires a project to be completed or to be researched. So this project, military engineering vehicles, will unlock several of these technologies, which will basically lead towards a combination of the support unit and armored vehicles. So you have, for example, the assault engineers, the armored engineers, which represents bridge layers, obstacle clearance vehicles. You have the signal and armor, which leads to command vehicles. These armored tanks with basically big comms gear to direct in battle. And you have, for example, the maintenance and armor, which is the armor recovery tanks, to try to, reduce your attrition, be able to capture more equipment, and so on. And then if you go back to the project view, we can see here, if you click on it, on the facility, we can see here the iterations as well. So once you start a project, what is going to happen is that the project will initiate a series of prototype iterations of cycles. You can see the progress of the prototype there. And each one of these iterations will grant progress, completion towards the full project progress. And some things can happen. There's the default reward, basically, is just a little bit of progress. And then there's a lot of rewards that can grant you, for example, in this case, we got a negative event, resources scarcity. There was a lack of the resources needed, so we got down a bit on the project. We didn't get as much progress as we could have. On the other side, our scientist gets some experience because he kind of figured out a way to bypass that or to deal with that kind of problem. So there's going to be different kind of bonuses and small penalties granted by these rewards. Sometimes you will even have to make choices. Like we are working, for example, on this artillery. Do we want to focus on, fast production of slightly less quality pieces, guns, or do we want to focus on, as mass destruction as possible, even if it means more costly weapons? So you will have there different things. I don't know, what do you prefer? Let's, for example, finish this project and then we can go a bit on different projects and show a bit of different themes, I guess.
Mm-hmm. And so this is available for all of the branches, the military. So there's an army one, there's a naval one, and there's an air-based one. And then we also have physics, you said.
And then we have physics, which is mostly related to the nuclear research. Worth noting that some of the old techs, especially for rockets and nuclear, have been reworked. Some of them have become special projects. Some of them are now unlocked by special projects. Happens also with radar. So there's a little bit of new stuff and new ways of playing the early game, especially for this. And now you have the equipment and the division as well. If you can, I'm not sure if we already have the 3D model for this one, but we can try.
We can do it live. Hold on,
let's see. You need to remove your engineers support battalion because they are mutually exclusive.
Fantastic. So we have.
So if you click now on the model, might not have this one though. Maybe we do. Click on the model. There you go. And a bit down. Maybe we do have armored. I saw some armored something. Armored support vehicle.
I don't think the model's in.
A bit up. I might be around there, but I can't
Either way, that's now in our divisions. We can start creating the project, and that's our project done. And then how would we go about? So I can now click this again and start other researches with this individual.
We have here some absolutely finished art.
Yeah,
not placeholder at all.
No, absolutely, totally. Everybody, be aware that everything that you are seeing today is work in progress. Things may change from the final release. There you go. I've done my spiel. Let's get back to it. So we have now, apparently we could go for the super heavy howitzer or the flamethrower tank. I'm noticing an icon here that's say 1 and 2. What's this? Is the amount of...
So that is your... Good point. I totally forgot to mention that. That is your breakthrough points. The breakthrough points required for these special projects to be initiated. So in the left, in the facilities view, those 4 specializations and those bars, the green bars, those are your breakthroughs.
Here.
You research technology related to this field. So in this case, if you research artillery techs, tank techs, you will be slowly filling this bar towards the achieving 1 breakthrough point, and then continue to a 2nd breakthrough point, etc., etc. And that is what actually, that's like the currency or the mana point that you will use to research new projects in this specialization, in this theme. You can also get a little bit, if you hover over Eduard Grote, and to the right, you can see that he's providing a little bit of breakthrough progress as well, because he is now idle in a facility. He's also boosting a little bit the regular research as well.
Oh, fantastic.
So he's kind of boosting breakthrough points in 2 ways, like directly and also indirectly, because you are researching faster, so you're getting a bit more breakthrough out of those research techs. So that is why this is stopping you to get in any other projects. But we do have a console command to bypass this, this inconvenience, right?
Okay.
So you can type there SP_BR and then a space and a number. Basically, you can put like 10 or 100 or whatever you want. Maybe just 10. Let's not push it into the limits.
There we go. So I now have 10 breakthrough points, and I can set a new project out of these 2. Let's try the super heavy howitzer because it costs more. And this is going to add super heavy artillery. Is this a support company unit?
It is also a support company. It represents like very big heavy howitzers. They were not very common or numerous, but there were several countries actually with very high caliber guns. One thing, since we wait for this, the question marks that we saw is because the idea is that the special projects that are currently not really available will be slightly hidden. You will see there's something. You will see what you need to achieve it, to unlock it. You won't be able to see all the details of it. So projects that are, for example, children. For example, here we have options. We have the possibility to choose. There's this design focus. And it's actually the example I used earlier, where you can focus on more firepower at the expense of. If you click on one of these, you can see you will be able to see the effects. You have not committed to it yet. You will see what it grants. So it will give a bit more soft attack, a bit more extra collateral damage, which is more damage to buildings in the combat zone. But it will increase the cost. A detail as well is you see 3 options in this case, and one of them has a little clock, right? That is gonna be the default option that will be automatically taken if you don't, if the player doesn't really interact with it, because you might be busy doing something else, dealing with your Eastern Front, whatever. So if you don't do anything, usually the most normal option or the low-key option will be by default taken.
It also shows that we can allow this to progress without too much macro involvement. And if a player doesn't want to engage with, deciding every single thing about a special project, they can choose to ignore it without it being detrimental.
You can follow up closely all the iterations they're happening to make sure to make the most out of whatever you're getting in them, and make the calls on every aspect. But it is by no means a necessary or a requirement for the future to work.
And if I remember correctly, we can now build the experimental facilities for each of the branches.
Let's build.
What do we want to build?
Yeah, let's build something different to see some other projects as well. I would recommend because they are quite costly, so you could probably use the IC command.
Yes, I will be doing. I will be doing. So, which one should we go for? All of them? Should we just build one of each?
Let's go with let's go with planes, for example. One thing, when you are trying to build your facility, the location needs to be in order for it to be valid, it needs to be close to supply. So it has to be close to a supply hub and in a railway system and such. And obviously, in the case of coastal naval facilities, they need to also be on the coast.
And there's also the chance that if, say, I was navally invaded and I had a naval coastal facility over here in Hinterpommern, that would go over to my enemy, wouldn't it? If they took
that will go to your enemy. You will get a penalty on whatever you were researching in there. The enemy will get a bonus on whatever you were researching in there, assuming they didn't have it yet. Mm-hmm. So it can actually be very, very tricky if you are a country in a hard position, difficult position, where to build your facility, because it is a vulnerable point. Like, it is a key point that can help your enemy get this edge, the advantage they need to actually break through your line, and while it can also help you holding in.
Sorry, I just saw the placeholder character.
Yep, that's also for you.
Yeah, they're coming.
Fantastic!
Soon.
Oh, fantastic placeholder characters until time. But yeah, so I now have an option for multiple scientists for the different research.
Yes.
What kind of options do we get in terms of recruiting our scientists? It costs us political power.
It costs political power. We might rework still the way you can pay for this, especially for countries that start with no scientist. That's still a work in progress. But yes, if you don't have a scientist, or if you just hate your current scientist or have some sort of beef against them, you can always generate a new scientist. We have a very cool, actually very cool portraits for generic scientists generated like a bit modular. So you can always access someone. The thing is, historical scientists come with traits and with kind of renown, whereas the generic ones don't. So they might or might not bring any traits that will help with the research of these projects.
I'm also seeing that some of these scientists have their own unique traits. We've got, for example, a helicopter expert here who's bright, who's adding extra speed, and we've got someone who's a brilliant theorist. So they're like the same way that general selection works. We have our bonuses that improve the individual characters, yeah?
Pretty similar. All the historical scientists start with a trait that is basically focused on their field that they are experts on, like airplanes or rockets or jet technology, whatever. And then some of them have additionally a second trait, which is the more of a personal trait or character trait.
So now I have these in their position. I can now start researching things such as helicopters, radar, jet engines, if I'm on the air, or I have choices under Navy as well. So I guess it just allows much more customization of your research, which is
yes. And
really cool.
Some of these projects also you can also customize the output, the end result, having slightly more powerful, for example, guns, as we saw earlier, right? Or for nuclear weapons, you have several options to customize. So even two countries completing the same projects, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to have the exact same things. The end outcome can be different still in some of these projects. If you want, also, we can have a secret command to show the project, so we don't see any more question marks.
Yeah, absolutely. What have we got?
Let's go SP _ available, basically, and then you can tap and you will autocomplete. There you go.
All special projects are now enabled. Let's take a look.
Yes.
So, oh wow, we've now got a lot of things to choose from here with a lot of variants. This is going to open up. I know we'll probably get a lot of questions about the ICBMs and other things in future. I believe that's being covered a bit later.
Yes,
I believe
more to come on that area with future stream and Dev Diary with the rates because they're very closely related.
I have to ask you now, what's your favorite special project out of the list, if you have one?
I do. I really like many of them. They're really cool. Both as a concept in the time, like for example, the Mothership Parasite aircraft is an amazing concept.
Wait, a Mothership Parasite?
That's a baby plane.
It's a baby plane under a bigger plane. Right. Wow. Okay.
It's really interesting. Like, this is cool concept because it's, to be fair, it's not such revolutionary. It's basically acts as a very long range air superiority equipment. But the concept itself is super cool, right? But my favorite project would be probably the land cruiser, like that big tank, chunky armored vehicle. Insane. You can let's complete that project quickly. SP instant _instant. I'm revealing all the cheats now.
I mean, absolutely. I mean, they're going to obviously be updated on the wiki once the game's live anyway. So but where am I going? I'm okay. So
there you
if
go.
I unpause, that will complete, and then where am I looking? Where is the land cruiser?
There you go. There we go. Yes. So this one will unlock a support battalion and a series of modules with many more modules coming unlocked by other technologies or projects.
Is this a tank with heavy naval
basically
guns on
you
it?
will put naval guns in your land cruiser. You can put an aircraft catapult in your land cruiser. You can combine other projects, like you can put a super heavy railway gun in your like mount the gun into your land cruiser.
Wow. Okay.
You can put a helipad in your land cruiser for helping with some recon and such. You can put a radar on your tank. The thing is, right now we're unlocking just the basics of these modules, but with different techs and some special projects, you can put also a super heavy howitzer if you research the project in the land cruiser. By the way, there's a lot of balance to be done still on this.
Yeah, remember everybody, what you're seeing is work in Poland.
It is. Values are probably some of them are still like very much like nuts.
We are slowly running out of time, so I am going to quickly throw it over to the audience. Just if you want to ask any questions about stuff that you've heard about today, we're trying to keep it specific on what we've got. We have some fantastic little Hearts of Iron elves that are picking out some questions from chat that we'll be sending over to me. But I do have one that's just come in, which is interesting. So are most special projects tied to support companies, or could you say field an entire division of land cruisers if you have somehow had the production ability to do so?
No, the idea is that the land cruiser in particular is going to be a support battalion. Helicopters, military engineering vehicles, they are also support battalions. So are howitzers. Super heavy railway gun, for example, is its own unit, similar to a normal railway gun. In terms of planes, ships, they are all their own things, obviously. But yeah, within the land, most of the things are support, because it is very rare to field a full unit. Like, it would have never happened. Like, the amount of just units countries could have, if any at all, fielded during the conflict was very, very limited.
It makes a lot of sense.
Better. We think it fits better within a support role.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Just another. Just any other question? Actually, I'm just gonna throw it over to Malin. Malin, what's your favorite special project, if you have one, or don't you have one?
Pretty basic. I like the jet engines. They're just good.
Fair enough.
But also, like, motherships are cool.
Yeah, I have to say, after learning about these today, that's really cool for me. I kind of really I find that really unique, and I will most likely be researching those today. A quick question. I think this one will be subject to balance. How powerful will the special projects be? From what I'm gathering, these are like elite researchers, so they'll be pretty powerful. Am I right in saying that?
Yes, what we've tried to do with some of the, especially the less plausible or the more fantastic projects, is if you go to the tech tree and to the, for example, the tanks, the idea is that some of these special projects, you are still investing a lot, so they will be, you can feel them, you can utilize them, but with some extra tech later on, with extra investment, then that's when they can become really powerful. Hopefully this can help also with the idea of, you are playing, let's say, USA, and you're playing isolationist. If you leave Germany unchecked for too long, it might be a problem for you. By the time you arrive to the continent, to the beach, and say, hey, hi, you might be faced by a gigantic land cruiser with railway gun instead of a normal cannon and just pointing at you.
I mean, yeah, I would not. I think vice versa goes for any of the nations that might be a little bit more isolationist, or anyone who hasn't been focusing some special projects of their own, if they're one of the great powers. I can understand why leaving someone's special projects unchecked might run into some issues. That a quick one on. So what sort of focus does the AI have on special projects? If we're covering that, like, will they research them and try to utilize them, or is this
absolutely
more... Okay.
I mean, you saw like the first thing Germany did as an AI while Austria was dealing with their own communist flirting was starting on the military engineering vehicles. The idea is to have some sort of historical, like, because some of these projects are absolutely historical and proved projects, so to speak. Like radar is proof, like it works fine. So we will put a more emphasis on that, especially on those projects that replace former tech. As a wish list, no promises at all, or whatever. I personally would like to have some sort of possibility to tweak AI boost towards certain researching projects and all that, so that you can create your own challenges. But that is absolutely not coming anytime soon. Like, that's for the future. I would like to do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll see.
And Malin, a question to you: what's your favorite path on the Austria tree?
Definitely monarchist with a puppet focus, so you can do the joint focus tree. I find that hilarious. It's amazing. Like, on the one hand, you're extremely stressed trying to just hold off the Anschluss and get as much people as possible. On the other hand, you can, if you're real shifty about it, diplomatically annex people. And there's few things that are as fun as diplomatically annexing Czechoslovakia, and then mere moments later, Germany being like, hey, I want Sudetenland.
Oh, fantastic. I think that's a good way to end off, and that's all we've got time for today. So thank you, Malin and Manuel, for giving us your time to go through some of these changes. We will be back in future with more of these streams, and don't go anywhere. Hearts of Iron is putting out so much information about the Götterdämmerung DLC and all of our upcoming expansion plans. We're doing 2 dev diaries a week for the foreseeable future up until release. We've got a full schedule out of when to expect certain dev diaries and certain content updates, and if you haven't already, maybe consider grabbing the expansion pass. It's new, it's out there, and you get a fantastic pre-order bonus song and some lovely unit graphics to go with. But that's all we've got time for. Thank you so much for watching, everybody, and we will see you later. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.
Bye.